Hello everyone and welcome in a new video. In this video number 33 about ANSIBLE, we continue our practical exercise to install a monitoring stack, and in this video we'll install Prometheus server to scrap our node exporter. We have already installed node exporter in the previous video number 32. If you want, you can subscribe to my channel to not miss the next video. The purposes of this video, of this practical exercise, we want to install Prometheus and Grafana stack with node exporter on 4 servers, on 4 nodes. And in the previous video, we have installed node exporter with ANSIBLE, and we have already developed a role, a specific role to node exporter here. And in this video, we want to install Prometheus, and in the next video, we'll install Grafana. Our infrastructure, we want to have, and we have deployed 4 nodes. 1 node dedicated to Prometheus and Grafana with node exporter, and other nodes with only node exporter to collect our system metrics. What we do in this video, first of all, we need to add the versioning of our node exporter binary. In the previous video, we developed a role to simply install node exporter, but if we change our node exporter version, ANSIBLE don't do the good thing to change this version, to do the upgrade, and we need to develop some line to change the version and do the upgrade. In the second part of this video, we just develop a new role to install Prometheus. So the first step, how can we check if we need to do an upgrade of our node exporter? This is the question. How can we do an upgrade with Ansible and node exporter? So the first way, we can use the binary, and with the binary we can pass dash version argument, and that's very difficult because with node exporter that doesn't work. The second way, maybe we can use a curl on the /matrix root, and this is more complex because we need to collect the page of /matrix. We need to parse this page. Maybe in next version we have a change on this page and we lose some elements about version. Maybe node exporter change the name of this version, and this is not the best way. In our case, what we do a simple development, and we just add the version in the systemd service when we install node exporter, and we compare the systemd service version with our Ansible version. If we have a diff between these two versions, we simply do an upgrade with Ansible. So to do it, we just need to do some change. First change, we add in our systemd service, we add in the template the version. To do it, I copy it, I go in our node exporter role, in template, in node exporter service, and I go here in description, for example, I add a version, and we use the node exporter version. Remember, we have node exporter version in the default directory main.yml. This is an ANSIBLE variable, okay, of our role. So I save it, and now we just need to add a new task and to compare the node exporter version with the systemd version and the ANSIBLE variable. If we have a difference between the two versions, we need to do an upgrade. So to do it, we use this task, and we add this task in our node exporter task. We go into our task directory in the main.yml, and before to before to download our binary, we add this task. And what we do in this task, we use the shell module, and with the shell module, we do a cat on /etc systemd system node exporter service. We grep the line with version, and we find this line, and we get the version. To do it, we use a sed to collect the version. After it, we add a condition. We just do this. We want to do this task only if check node exporter present, our register here, is set with stat and exist to true. We define a changed when false. We'll see it in next video. This is to manage idempotence of ANSIBLE, and we add the register to get the node exporter version. Okay, the node exporter version is the content of our shell command. Okay. This is the number of our real version of node exporter. So now we just need to do another change, this one, and we just change this line. In the previous video, we just check node exporter present to false to install the new version. But with this new variable, we can do another condition. We keep the previous condition, check node exporter present stat exist to false, or not. And if the node exporter version, this is where we define the version we like to find, or we like to install in our variable. We compare it with our new version. This is our new version get node exporter version, and the .std out because it's a dictionary. And we compare these variables, and if we have a difference, we need to do an upgrade. This is why we use or not. If this variable not equal to node exporter version, we want to do a download of our new binary with our unarchive module. So we do the same change with all condition with our when condition. So I do it for our copy, for example, copy module, when we want to move our node exporter. And I think that's all. We can test it. I think to test it, we can check if we have a new version of node exporter. So to check it, node exporter release, and we check which release, yes, 112. Okay, so to do it, what we do, in the previous video we have installed the 1.0.1, and now I want to install 1.1.2. okay, so I save it and I go into my command line and I add Ansible playbook -i and our playbook. So I run it. Yes. So we see Ansible download our new binary and move this binary and do the clean, install the service again, and I think it's okay now. I can check it, and to do it I go on one of our server, SSH 172.17.0.2, and I can do a sudo systemctl status and node exporter. Okay, I have my node exporter. I can do a cat on this file and we see the new version 1.1.2. Right, now we can install our Prometheus. So to install Prometheus we need to create a new role, to add some variables, install Prometheus with apt command, apt module, it's better than to use a command. We change the command line arguments of our Prometheus and we create the configuration file, start the service and create the handler. So first of all, we need to create a role and add a variable. To create a role, we need to go in our CLI. I use ANSIBLE-galaxy and roles, and we want a role for Prometheus. Oh, init, Ansible Galaxy init, roles Prometheus. Okay. We just need to change our playbook file here, and so before I paste the content of my variables, I go into default main variables. I remove to indentation. What we have Prometheus dir configuration. We want to create this directory /etc Prometheus. We want to set some variable about Prometheus, the retention time, 1 year, the scrap interval, the default scrap interval, 30 seconds, the node exporter, if we want to activate node exporter, the scrap of node exporter by default, yes, we want to scrap node exporter, we set to true. We want to scrap our node exporter server with which group. In our example, we use the group all, and we'll see it later, but we use this group and collect all server in this group to edit the scrap config of our node exporter. We set, for example, a num variable for production, and this is a very important variable, Prometheus var config. This is our header of our Prometheus config file. So I save it, and now I can go into our playbook and I add a new playbook, a new task in our playbook, a new playbook, and I add install Prometheus, and in our case we just install it on the monitor group, and today we just add Prometheus role. We need to change our inventory. To change it, we just need to add a children group, and in this children group, what we have a monitor group with our host, also host, and we want to install it on 172.17.0.2, and we have another group, so maybe not, yes, yes, we can define the other group, or node exporter group, others, yes, and we can add this one. Yes, I save it. To check it, if it works, we can run again our command line. So it's okay, it's running, right? Okay, nice. And now what we can do, we can edit our Prometheus role. So to do it, first of all, we need to add a task to install Prometheus with the app module. I go into task main.yml, I add it. We use a module with the name of our package Prometheus. We want the latest state, latest version. Before we want to do an update of our cache, the cache, set to yes, and the cache valid time to 1 hour. The next step, we want to add a template to change the command line of our Prometheus. To do it, we need to create a template file named prometheus.g2. I add a new file, prometheus.g2. And in this file, I had only one line, an args line. This is for our system D. Yes, and in this line what we add the -- web enable lifecycle option, and yes, this option activate the reload by the root, by the curl. We add storage time series database retention time to our variable Prometheus retention time. You can find it in our default directory. We have the retention time here, and we use a template for the Prometheus console and the Prometheus library equally. That's all. Yes, I save it, and now we can add a new task. In this task, we want to install the Prometheus configuration file. So to do it, we use the template module with a new file, prometheus.yml.g2. So I can close all other, yes. And I create a new file, prometheus.yml.g2, and this file will be pushed on our destination in /etc for this variable, etc/prometheus /prometheus.yml. We add a mod. We want to set the owner to Prometheus, the group to Prometheus, and if we do a change on this file, we just want to notify a handler. The handler name is reload Prometheus. So in our prometheus.yml.g2, we need to edit this file. with a template, and this template is a Jinja 2, and I add this line. We have already seen it in previous video. This is to keep the right indentation of our file, and in the first line we just get the Prometheus var config. If we check in our default main, we have the Prometheus var config. This is all this block, and we add to it, we use a filter named toNiceYAML, because this is we want to push it like an YAML, and we want an indentation to 2. Okay, after it we just use the Prometheus node exporter group. So this is here, Prometheus node exporter group. We have set it to whole, and if this variable is set, we want to add this block to add a config scrap dedicated to our node exporter. We add a specific scrap interval to 50 seconds. We add a specific static config with our target, and for this target we use a for loop on the group defined on our Prometheus node exporter group variable. Prometheus node exporter group variable is all. This is for all group, the whole group, and the whole group refer to our inventory. This is all server in this group. Okay, and we do a loop on this group, and we define a new variable with the for loop. This is a server variable, and we edit our file with each line, each server for this line. We add the port of our node exporter 9100. So I save it. Now we just add 2 lines in our role task here. What we do, the right annotation, we start Prometheus in all cases and enable it. We ensure we reload all if needed with our handler. We flush our handler, and now we need to create our handler, and we go in the handlers directory of our role in the main, and we paste it here. The first handler, restart Prometheus, we use it here with the notify when we do a change on the default Prometheus configuration with the Prometheus CLI. We use the systemd module on the service Prometheus. We add a restarted state and enable it, and we do, because we change the configuration of our systemd service, we run a systemctl, daemon reload, and we set it to yes. Another handlers named reload Prometheus, and we use it here. This is when we do a change on the prometheus.yml file here. We run a reload of Prometheus, and to do this reload we see it in the next video, we use the URI module on this is like a curl. This is if Ansible, this is a curl run with Ansible, and we add the URL parameter on the local host, and we add the reload with the method post, and we check a status equal to 200. So I save it again, and Okay, and now I can run it. Yes, let's go. So first of all, we run our part of playbook dedicated to install Prometheus, and first of all we need to update the cache of our server. We can open this server. This server is 172.17.0.2. So now we have our Prometheus server. Sudo yes, use bash, sorry, and we can execute a sudo systemctl status, and we want to check Prometheus. Okay, we have our Prometheus on the port 9090. Okay, so all things seems to be okay, and I can open a browser, yes, and I can go on 172.17.0.2 on port 9090. Okay, so we have our Prometheus, and on our Prometheus we can go on target, and we see all target for node exporter 172.17.0.2.3.4.5, and our scrap is up, is running, yes. And to check it, what we can do, so we can go on here, and we can check the load, for example, of our server. We can execute, and we have the load average of each server. For .2 we have this load, .3, .4 and .5. Right, thank you for watching and following this video. You can find all the code and the slides in the description of this video, and you can subscribe to my channel to not miss the next video. You can like this video, comment this video, and I say to you goodbye and see you in the next video. Bye.